Hey, good morning. Welcome to Doctor's Moment Chaplain's Call or something like that. You can tell I'm still enjoying a little bit of the holiday season, can't you? It's a doctor's visit. We're just glad you're here. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's. It's called Chaplain's Moment Doctor's Call is what it is. Helps if I know what I'm doing, right? Man, I got to tell you, I'm just coming off of vacation. I had a wonderful vacation with my family up in the upstate. We had just had a great week, did a lot of different things, and I'm still kind of on vacation time. And not only that, but I just want to let you all know about things are going well with the new venture I'm in called Hope for the Community, making a lot of contacts, getting a lot of information. We've already achieved some of our initiatives by starting a Bluffton Community Care Fund. I've already been interacting with a couple different organizations about how I can assist them in reaching people for Christ, and working on one of my pet projects, which I've been dying to get going, which is a Greater Bluffton Community Chaplain Network, where we could train and certify chaplains, male and female, who live right in their communities and have two chaplains, a male, female, and a female chaplain in every community in Bluffton. I took a look at how many communities there are in Bluffton. I need a lot of chaplains. Listen, if you're watching this and you're interested in being a chaplain, contact me, John at Grace. Wrong email. Got a new email. John at hopelowcountry.org. That's John at hopelowcountry.org. And I've also started to lay the groundwork on another long-time project. I've been working on this for 15 years, and it's finally coming together. Finally figured out how to go about it. You know, single parents are the fastest growing subgroup of our culture. Still, 7 years running. And yet churches don't know how to handle them because it's quite a process. So I've been thinking about this, praying about this, and what I've come up with is a single parent mentor program where I will train people to be mentors, and you, husband and wife, will adopt a single parent family and engage that family and their children as time allows, and on a once a week basis, making some sort of contact, just encouraging them and making sure the kids are staying in school and stuff like that, encouraging that mother or that father to keep going. We're not going to fix everything. We're just going to mentor them, help them figure out what they need to do next, help them, give them a chance to think it. So it's going to be a mentor program. I'm just now beginning to put the groundwork together on that. Two of my pet programs that I've been thinking about for years, and now I have the opportunity to do it by being the director at Hope for the Community. So if any of this stuff interests you, I was talking to an organization this week that does medical missionary work in Guatemala, and they want to spread out through the world, but they need some organization, and I've been talking to them about how I might be able to assist them with doing that. So anyways, if any of this interests you, just let me know. John at hopelowcountry.org. Well, hey, what you tuned in for today is a little devotional. And we're still now that the holiday season is over, we're still in the Beatitudes, where Jesus says, blessed are such and such, and then gives them a promise. And we're at Matthew 5, verse 9, where Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Whew. I don't know about you, but our world is not peaceful for sure. Guess what? Since the fall of man in the garden, it has not been peaceful at all. Those short times of peace were just blips on the screen. But we crave peace. You know why we crave peace? Because we were made by God to have peace with God, peace with our fellow man, and peace with creation. Then the curse screwed all that up. We want peace in the world. We want peace in our community. We want peace in our families. We want peace in our lives. And we want peace with our neighbors. When it does happen, it tends to be the calm before the storm in this world. That peace is a fragile peace, waiting for the other side to start sending its foray of bombs into your life. Jesus comes along and gives a God view on things. Instead of desiring peace, we're to be actually peacemakers. This is not peace at any cost. I know people who worship peace. They'll do anything. They'll sell their soul to the devil to have peace. And this is not a make people happy idea. This is an attempt to bring peace to two warring sides regarding a specific issue. In a sense, we are to be the intermediary. We are to be the mediator. We are to be peaceful in our lives and seek peace in the lives of others. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 4:33, "For God is not an author of confusion," but watch what he says next, "but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." Whew. Wow, I tell you what. To have warring sides, we're not to be a part of it. Gossip and slander, we have nothing to do with it. Seeking peace and unity, now you're talking. Now you're talking Jesus Christ, God-driven purpose in life. A peacemaker doesn't judge or choose sides. A peacemaker doesn't force his own agenda, but seeks the agenda of God in a situation. A peacemaker seeks justice. That's what we do. That's why when two neighbors are arguing, and maybe it's one on my right and one on my left, I have a cat over here and I have brand new neighbors over here. I'm not to pick cat's side. I'm not to pick their side. I'm to try to mediate peace between the two. And I'm supposed to live a life of peace. For blessed are the peacemakers. You'll be blessed by God. I hate seeing Christians in churches holding grudges and saying, "This is not of God." I hate it. I hate it. They're arguing the bad feelings and churches that allow it to continue. Well, because they just don't want to upset somebody. They don't want to stir the pot. That's not seeking peace. We should be seeking mediation between anyone who is at odds with anybody else. Didn't the angels proclaim? Didn't we just celebrate this a few weeks ago? Didn't we just do this? When Jesus was born on that day we celebrated Christmas, the angels came down to the shepherds and said, "Peace on earth, goodwill to men." We now have the ability to have peace. Not a peace treaty, but a peace with God, a peace with our own selves, a peace in our family, and a peace in our neighbors, and our peace in our communities. That's why I want to create community chaplains, so they can help mediate issues going on in their communities, so they can help bring some peace to communities that might be struggling. If we're peacemakers, we're living a life of peace. So instead of trying to be critical to my husband or my wife, obviously my wife, maybe your husband, we should be seeking a sense of peace with them. Instead of lighting the fire and adding wood, we should be seeking ways to put out the fire and encourage, strengthen one another. That's what we should be doing. What's the promise? Here's the promise. It says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be known as the sons of God." That's how we're to be known. Yes, we're to be known as lovers of others. Jesus told the disciples in the upper room before he left that he wanted them to be known by their love of all things. And John tells us in 1 John 3 that we know what love is, to lay your life down for the sake of another. But here Jesus is specifically saying, to be known by God, you're to be a peacemaker. That's what godly people are to do. This is who we are. We're not to be out creating more havoc and peace. We shouldn't get into the big political foray and that it has to pick a side. We're to be peacemakers. We're to be mending the fences. We're to be finding a reason to come together. And of course, if that reason is Jesus, no greater thing to do than be at peace with maybe somebody from another denomination, another church, somebody who doesn't see things quite the way you do. Be at peace with them. I want to make a recommendation to you. Listen, I'm just giving a little devotional on this. There's a whole book written by a great book by Ken Sand. It's called The Peacemaker. I recommend, if you're struggling with being a peacemaker, if you're struggling with peace in your own life, get this book. It's well worth it. It tells us how to take a biblical principles and apply them to be a peacemaker. You know, Jesus was a peacemaker. He walked into all sorts of people's lives that were upside down. And instead of bringing condemnation and ridicule, instead of making excuses and not wanting to stir the pot, no, he gently and lowly. That's what he says, who he is in Matthew 11. He is gentle and lowly. He comes to bring peace to people whose lives are upside down. That's what we're to be doing. Bringing peace. Bringing the peace of God that passes all understanding. You can't even understand why you have it. Well, don't just hold it for yourself. Hey, give it to your spouse. Give it to your children. I really recognize that in my own family. When I was younger, I didn't pay any attention to being a peacemaker. I've come to realize I need to bring peace to my family. And then bring peace to your neighbors and your community. Bring peace in your church. Don't be afraid to confront issues going on in your church. At the same time, it's how you do it, by being gentle and lowly, just like Jesus was. That's what it is. Blessed are the peacemakers, he says, for they will be known as the sons of God. What a great promise there is to that. So, hey, this week, purpose, make peace. And if you're struggling with things, pray that God will send you a peacemaker. Pray that you can be a peacemaker. Pray that it will be peace that he sends, not that you manufacture. It's a peace that settles the soul, calms the emotions, doesn't have anger being at the forefront. So blessed by God are the peacemakers. Hey, thanks for joining me today. First Monday in January. Next Monday, the 10th, we will be looking at Matthew 5:10, another one of the Beatitudes, next week. So join me next week, would you please? Thanks again for joining us. And if you need to get a hold of me, it's John. New email address, john@hopelowcountry.org. That's john@hopelowcountry.org. See you next week.